Not too long ago, I was sitting where you were sitting at the University of Miami. This is where I went to school as an undergrad, and really where I got my start. This is where I became really inspired to do what you guys just saw in that video. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the early steps, because when I was at the University of Miami, I was taking an anthropology class with Dr. Linda Taylor. And I actually only chose that class because the science class I really wanted to take was full and I needed a requirement. It all happened by accident. I was supposed to be a lawyer. But I took this class and I just fell in love with the subject. And it was eye-opening for me to ask all these questions and learn that we really had very little answers about the natural world, and that's really what piqued my interest. So I'll give you sort of a little bit of background dating back to when I was a little kid. And thanks. And I loved animals. I had tons of pets, and this is my little chicken Maggie. But I didn't exactly take a typical scientist route. I mean, you being here today already gives you a huge, huge edge and advantage over my start. In fact, I wasn't very good at, God, I hate to admit this, I wasn't very good at math and some sciences that required math. So I never thought that I could be a scientist. And I wanted to go off to this really remote, unexplored region of the world. And not only had I never left the country, I had never been camping before. Yeah, I wanted to join the Girl Scouts when I was little, and my mom said no, because it was far too dangerous. So I couldn't do that. And to top it all off, again on this, didn't take the typical scientist route. I was a cheerleader for the Miami Dolphins. So yeah, not exactly like Charles Darwin in the making, if you get what I mean. So there's hope for everybody. So here I was, this little kid, loved animals, and the question that I most get asked is, well, how do you get to do what you're doing now? And you can see that not much has changed, but I drank a lot of milk. I've always loved this, and now I get to not only do the science and ask the questions and find the answers that I'm so passionate about, but with National Geographic, I mean, one thing I will say, they are the best boss ever because they pay me to do what I love, go to these amazing places, work with animals, work with incredible people, and they have this amazing core of pioneering scientists and explorers that are really at the forefront of what we all want to do, and they're at your disposal. So take advantage of this. And as Claire mentioned, it's all about asking these questions, and make sure you don't get shy today, but don't ever get shy. Ask your professors questions, ask everybody questions, because that's really how I got my start. I started asking questions in this anthropology class, and well, I'll show you, but it goes on from there. There was, thank you. This is a capuchin monkey. You've seen him on Friends, that kind of thing, not him. But I was really interested in going to Guyana because at the time, it was 1996, it was really unexplored regions of Guyana. And there was very little known, a lot about the social structures of some of the different monkeys there, very little known about it. So I applied for my first grant here at the University of Miami with the guidance and help of my undergraduate advisor. Then that's when I went off and spoke to the folks at the Smithsonian, the folks at the University of Guyana, and really you start asking one person a question and say, yes, I know somebody who might be able to help you there. That person may or may not, but they'll know somebody that can help you there. And that's how it all worked. I met up with one of my undergraduates, my undergraduate advisor's former students who had a connection to the Smithsonian and other scientists. And it's really all about just communicating what you want to do and asking a lot of questions. So off I went. That was my first expedition in South America. I got a taste of it, and I really knew that I had found what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So this is where we get into the big grants and what you guys want to be doing. you have to, as was mentioned earlier, look at the big context. You know, why is it important? I'm going to talk to you about my work specifically. So I went off, oops, I went off air here. I went off to Madagascar, you know, southeast coast of Africa, not the movie. And why I selected Madagascar, that was one of the questions that came up earlier. Why this place? Why this taxon? Why is that important? Well, Madagascar is named by scientists as one of the most ecologically rich and important places in the world. That's a pretty big reason that somebody might be interested in funding your project. I mean, the amount of biodiversity there, and it's endemic, it's only found in that particular country. And along with all this, and I'm going to flip through these quickly, but you see this array, these are some of the lemurs that I get to work with and study, and what actually motivated me to go to Madagascar. This animal in particular, it's called a silky shifaka. It's only found in the northeastern part of the country in a very small forest. And at the time, when I went off to do this research, there was absolutely nothing known about them. And in fact, when I tried to look for photographs of these animals, the only thing I could find were line drawings. I mean, nothing known. So don't think that everything's been done. There's still a ton of places that you can go and explore, and tons of questions that you can ask, because we really know very little about what's out there. And this is land stuff. You can imagine water stuff. I mean, there's just so much that we don't understand. And for a scientist, I mean, this place is just a dream come true. And I have to show this picture because, again, world's largest chameleon, world's smallest chameleon, only in Madagascar. Very cool place. And the field site that I first went to in Madagascar, it was an animal that I'm about to show you, but this is what was left of it. You know, the deforestation was running rampant. Time magazine was calling it the next Haiti, so there was a real time pressure to get over there and do something about it. This was one of the only glimpses I got for many, many weeks while I was out there. In fact, we were running out of food. Villages didn't have anything that we could resupply with along the way, and there weren't even very many of those. It was so remote. And this animal, too, was listed as one of the top 3 most endangered primates in the entire world. And again, no photographs, nothing, just line drawings, nothing known about them. So incredibly important, I thought, to get out there, not just learn about it, but try to protect it and find out why it was. Producer, I did a very small thing for them for that, and then the producer said, hey, we really like the scope of your research. Could we come back and actually do a film on that? And I thought, yeah, right, like that's never gonna happen. But they did, and they came back, and I've been with them for more than 10 years now, and I can't even begin to tell you I mean, I feel like my career is owed to them, because they gave me a platform, which is what they're offering you. They're offering you a platform to do what you love, and which I think is really one of the most important things and responsibilities that you have as explorers, is to share that with everybody, because that's how people get to know about the planet. You know, a lot of people don't have the opportunities to go to these places, and I'm a firm believer that you know what you love, and so if you teach them about it, they're gonna love it and want to protect it. So it's a huge responsibility. The last thing is, yeah, the last thing is, this was a mouse lemur that myself and my colleague, Dr. Ed Lewis, discovered out in Madagascar. And this is the amazing thing to me about being out there. We didn't plan on discovering this. We were actually studying the bigger lemurs. But we started asking questions because there were books that claimed there would be one kind of mouse lemur and then another. And we set out traps and found out that actually it was neither, that it was a brand new species to science. So again, it's sort of that message of just being out there, good things are gonna come. And you know, you just have to put in the time and the effort and ask those many questions. And involve the locals at every step that you can, because really the future of the place or the animal or whatever it is that you're doing really lies in the hands of the locals. So it's always good and actually required to include the locals. And spread your message, which is what National Geographic is really great at. And lastly, the opportunities are endless. I just finished my first book, which National Geographic is publishing, comes out in March. Jane Goodall, my hero, has written the foreword. The possibilities for you guys are endless. You just have to believe yourself, work hard, and ask lots of questions of everyone here.